Okay, now let me start recording my voice. So this is a lot of noise. So this is a lot of noise. Can everybody hear this? No? Yeah, come in, come in. Hey, don't ask for me. Yeah, just walk in, everybody, right? Okay. So this is a lot of noise. Okay, let's try it again. Hopefully this will behave. Yeah, okay. I am recording my voice. I am recording my voice. Good. Now let me say something that is. Oh, can I start recording from here? This is really a lot of low amplitude information, right? It's only 128, 129 to minus 160, which is really small, whereas the previous case it was 1000, right? So that's why it looks very bad, but it's not because we've zoomed in quite a bit. I didn't say anything. I will now. So this is just ambient noise that is coming. Okay. Zebra crossing is good. And there's a particular reason why I said that statement. Zebra crossing is good. Okay, what I want to now show you all is the spectrogram of the signal. And okay. So the spectrogram, this is what a spectrogram looks like. Let me zoom in on a small part of it. Okay. Zebra, zebra. Okay. So now this is a vowel. This is b, and it is voiced because you have the b coming, and that's why the voice stop has a little bit of a low frequency here. Right? This is the z, and this is the s. That's the s, and this is the z. Z, 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 z. Now the question from zero crossing rate is, how can I use zero crossing rates to identify what kind of frequencies I have in the signal? That was the question. And somebody here, I think Nida said, if the zero crossing rate is very high, then that has a lot of high frequency. That's a good answer, but I'm looking for one more level of detail, which is, in this case, I will have some zero crossing rate because of this frequency. Right? Can everybody see my mouse pointer? There'll be some zero crossing rate because of this. Will that be high or low? Just because of this region, Mega. Low because it's low frequency where I'm pointing, right? What about Shivani? What about this region? Yeah, will it be high in zero crossing rate or low? High compared to this guy. Why, Santosh? Why is this zero crossing rate of this frequency higher than this region, higher than that of this region? Yes, it's vibrating, but okay, so the reason is this is low frequency, so the change is low, and so the number of zeros that are crossed is much lower, whereas, oh, okay, sure, sure, okay. So let me zoom in further. Oh, okay. This is, I think, just the zebra. Okay, zebra. Let me zoom out a little bit. Yeah. So this is a zebra. Zebra, right. Okay. Now this is the Z. I'll come to the spectrogram reading, but I want to answer that question, I have to explain a little bit about the speech signal. So this is Z, zebra, zebra. Okay. So now what you have is a voiced fricative Z, right, followed by a vowel, followed by a voiced stop. That's when, so you have the vocal folds vibrating. If you say there's nothing, so there'll be silence. So if I was to say zipra, there'll be nothing here in this per region, but there is something. Then this is the burst, and then this is the r, and then the a. That's what the time signal is. Now the spectrogram, what this says is I'm sampling the signal at 16 kilohertz. That is just how Wavesurfer does it. That's just how this software records signal. Everybody knows what sampling rate is. What I'm speaking is analog signal. It is getting converted into digital signal. That conversion needs some sampling that is happening at 16 kilohertz, which means there are 16 kilo or 16,000 samples in every second. Okay. Nyquist criteria says that if 16 kilohertz is the sampling rate, what is the highest frequency I can get, Naresh? 8, it will be half. So you have to sample at double the rate of the frequency that you want. If you sample at 16, the maximum frequency you can get is 8 kilohertz. That's why this is going only till 8 kilohertz, right? If you can see where the mouse is, it's starting from 0 hertz, it's going all the way till only 8 kilohertz. Clear? These are very important things, okay? Remember this. Um, there were some questions around this in the exam last year, and you might have something like this tomorrow also, or Monday also. So, okay. So then what happens is you have this 0 to 8 kilohertz as the range on y-axis. X-axis is just time. Clear? Then these regions, the darkness shows what frequency is present with what amplitude. Two things, okay? Which frequency is present and with what amplitude. Is this clear? Now I'll tell you how to read it. So you have this Z part, right? Let me ask Kaustav, are you ready for a question? If this is Z, okay, what kind of a sound is it? Nobody else but Kaustav. You cannot ask me a question back in the question paper. What is Z? What kind of a broad class is Z? So Ashraf, okay, good. What are the other types of broad classes? Okay, 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 good. Yeah, so this is a fricative, right? So we all know fricatives will have high frequency. So that's why here what you see is 4 kilohertz and above, there is a lot of high frequency information, right? And the way it is shown is by darkness. The darker the region, the higher the amplitude of the signal in that frequency region. Okay, so I'm saying a lot of caveats. The darker the region, which is this, the higher is the amplitude of this signal in that frequency region. So here it is all white, which means the Z sound has no amplitude or no signal in the low frequency regions. Clear? This is how you read a spectrogram. Now we'll come to this part. Okay. Who hasn't talked at all? What's your name? Lokesh. You haven't. I haven't seen you in many days. Uh, okay. So do you know what sound this is? Z, 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 E. What is E? Shivani. Where is Shivani? Yeah. Who are you then? Vidya. Sorry. You confused. It's a vowel, right? So E is a vowel. So now, Pravina, what do we expect in terms of frequencies? Low frequency, right? Vowels are typically low frequency, and that's what you see here also, right? The amplitude is much higher in the low frequency regions, and there is hardly any amplitude in the high frequency regions. Okay. Now let us play this sound. Br, br, right? The other point I want to make when you're reading a spectrogram is when there is a voiced sound, everybody knows how voiced sounds are produced, right? The vocal folds are vibrating. When they open, energy comes out, right? When the vocal folds are open, a lot of energy comes out. When they close, for that whatever tiny second, you don't hear you don't hear the abruptness because it's happening very quickly, right? So when they close, there is no energy coming out. But when they open, there is energy coming out. And because that's happening periodically, everybody knows the meaning of the word periodically. It is happening at regular intervals. What you expect to see is regular high burst of amplitude and then nothing. High and nothing. High when the thing is open, when the vocal folds are open and air is coming out. Is that clear to everybody? And then now I want you to see, let's zoom into this part. This is good. Actually, this is a little too zoomed in. Right. Now, Kaustav, should I ask Kaustav again? No, maybe not. Bhargav. Uh, can you look at this region, right, the entire region that is seen here, and explain what I just said looking at this figure? Others be ready. I will ask somebody in random. There's not much amplitude. Very good. Very good. So that shows it's a vowel. High frequency, there's nothing. Low frequency, there is a whole lot. But when I'm talking about the vocal folds opening and closing, can you see that here? Very good. Does everybody see that? Right? So here in the signal, you see there's a big amplitude here. That's when the vocal folds are open, energy is coming out. They are closing, so the energy is going down in this region. And then when they're opening again, there's a lot of energy coming out. Now you see that happening here also, right? In this, and that's what I think Megha was saying, right? That in this tiny region, there's a lot of blackness, right? There's a lot of dark signal, which is high intensity, which says the vocal folds are open, right? And then they're closing again. So there is a little less, and then they're open again. The red, look at the red bar, right? Then again they're closing, then again they're opening. And because I'm speaking in a voiced manner, you will see these vocal folds opening, closing nicely, right? So this is the other thing that you read out of a spectrogram is whether there are, these are called striations. If people don't know the English word striation, it basically means the signal is, there are, so striations are any signal which has some high amplitudes occurring frequently or periodically is called striation. So we have striated paper also. Right? If you fold the paper too many times and then open it, it will have those curves. Those are called striations. I think that's also striation. So, but anyways, in speech, these kind of signals are called striations. Right? This is not part of syllabus, but I'm just letting you know. The pitch frequency is part of the syllabus, which is the distance between this amplitude and this amplitude is pitch frequency, the fundamental frequency. That is really what is controlling your voice. So singers are people who are very good at changing that pitch frequency, going from very low frequency to very high when they, when they screech. That is really when it gets very high. Okay, and I'm not able to do that, but hopefully everybody gets the idea. So this is one pitch period. You can read it off of the signal. You can read it off of this also, right? Okay. Let me see if there's anything else I want to cover in reading the spectrogram. Right. These are the silence regions. So you don't see any frequency, any amplitude in any frequency. Is this clear to everybody? How to read a spectrogram? So the spectrogram is basically a very condensed way of reading the entire speech signal. It tells you how long it is by looking at the x-axis. It tells you what frequency it was sampled at by looking at the y-axis. It tells you what kind of frequency components are present in each region, or in terms of time as well as in frequency, and the corresponding amplitude at each time frequency slice. So for example, if I take just this region, okay, just this region, yeah, what can we say, Aishwarya? What can we say about this region? Okay, that's one. In this frequency region also, where the mouse pointer is, between this black region, there's no amplitude there. Okay, and this happens because of some resonance frequencies that within the wobble also, whereas there's a lot of low energy, low frequency amplitude, there are regions within that where there's nothing, and that's what you can read out of a spectrogram also. So in that sense, spectrogram is a very rich representation of speech signal. Clear to everybody? Okay, now let me go back to the original question that I had. The original question was, given a time region like this, I do zero crossing on this, right? Let me zoom into the signal now. Right. So this is my speech signal. I'm doing a zero crossing rate on this signal. Let me zoom in even further. Yeah. Now, Uday, what do I mean when I say I want to look at the zero crossing rate of this signal? I don't mean sir. I'm asking you, what do I mean when I say that I want to know what is the zero crossing rate of this signal? No, no, what do I mean by it? Yes. Or any time unit. Very good. That's what it is. Right? And remember this answer. Okay? Because we're preparing for Monday and for future also. So, no, no, that's fine. Tell me. Oh, okay. So this is one zero crossing. This is the other zero crossing. This is the third. This is the fourth, and so on. Right? Any question? If there's any question, just your voice is not being recorded, so it's okay. Okay, so we get this as the global zero crossing of the entire speech signal in that region, okay, of all the frequencies. My question is, can we now do something more on the zero crossing so as to get what kind of frequencies are present? Huh? Yes, more number of times. That's very good. That is where I'm heading. But what does it mean to do more number of times? Can you be a little more specific? Good. Huh? No. Yeah, I think you are on the right direction. How? You've all done sort of, but I think he was on the righter track. So what were you saying? Right, but where I'm heading with this is I have to draw something now. Okay, so in this signal, I have this as the frequency, right? This is my time. When I do the, and so let me just draw the signal here. When I do the zero crossing rate on the entire signal, it does not tell me what frequencies are present. It tells me roughly whether it is a lot of high frequency or a lot of low frequency based on zero crossing rate. Everybody knows that now. But the question is, how do we get even more detail about the kind of frequency that is present? So one thing I can do is I can do filtering. I can have band pass filters. Everybody knows band pass filters, right? So I have frequency 1, frequency 2, frequency 3, frequency 4, frequency 5. I am now band passing the signal at various bands and then doing a zero. So what happens is if I do this kind of a band pass, I'll get some signal here. Probably nothing. Uh, Probably nothing. And then there is a little bit of this frequency, nothing here. Little bit of this frequency and nothing here. Now this region has no frequency in this region, and there is all the frequency here, probably nothing here, and then all the things here, and then nothing in this region. Is everybody clear what I have done here? I have band passed the signal, right? And so this region could have been composed of three frequencies or three frequency regions, and that's what I see here: 1, 2, and 3. This frequency was mainly here, so I got that in this band pass. I did not get it in these regions. This frequency, this signal had frequency only in these two regions. So I got those two here and nothing in this region, right? Now, can somebody tell me what we can do using zero crossing rate to identify which frequencies are present? Yes. That's all there is. Has everybody understood what he's saying? You do this filtering. If I have 1, 2, 3, 4 band passes, I will get 4 different signals. Is that clear to everybody? Right? I'll get 4 different signals which will have different frequencies. Right? Is this clear? Why I will have 4 different frequencies? Because the band pass will only pass a particular type of frequency. So this signal coming out of this band pass is different from this signal, which is coming out of the second band pass. Now, if I do a zero crossing rate on this, it will be different from the zero crossing on this. Is that clear? Right? And so the zero crossing on this filter will tell me whether there is any frequency present in this region or not. The zero crossing values of this band pass will tell me whether there is any frequency in this region or not. Is that clear? So essentially what I have done is taken one signal, split it into multiple signals by band passing the signal. And essentially those band passes now tell me what kind of frequencies are present. And zero crossing rate just captures that. Is this clear to everybody? Yeah? Okay. So now here, what I can do is I can have a band pass between 0 and 1. It's technically low pass, but that's okay. We can just call it band pass. So I have a band pass filter here. I do zero crossing on that. I have a band pass here between 1 and 2. I do a zero crossing on that. I will probably not get anything because there is no signal there. I might not get a whole lot beyond 4 kilohertz also. The band passes at between 4 and 8 kilohertz, right? So that is how you can use zero crossing rate to identify what kind of frequencies are present in the speech signal. This clear to everybody? Yeah? Clear? Okay, good. So let me zoom out and right. Okay, so let me just stop here then.